And today is just a general satsang. Anyway, it became quite late. People came a little late, so I'll start with the chant and give you a general idea of what we expect to do in this what workshop, conference, satsang. Better. So, Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gaganasadarsham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum. I want to know if people who are here now expect to take Kriya or no need.
Yes, please.
So, how many? Because then I have to adjust it accordingly. I can't go off on my mat trip. I need to adjust it, do all that kind of thing. So, how many? Oh my God. So, you have not taken Kriya? This is the first time.
Yes.
So, did we agree that we are giving Kriya? Okay. And those who have already taken Kriya, don't put up your hands. Those who have already taken Kriya, and I know are not practicing, who are they? So that means those who have not put up their hands are practicing. Good. So it will be also a review for those who already took the Kriya. Fine. So today we will not talk anything about Kriya. This is just the start. Tomorrow we will very slowly get into the Kriya, glide into it. How many days do we have tomorrow? Full day? Day after tomorrow, one more full day?
2 full days and 1 half day.
Two. So, those who have come to take Kriya, who expect to take Kriya, don't worry, you will get the Kriya, okay? Don't think I'm rambling on and on. In the end, I would say, okay, namaskar, goodbye. You'll get your Kriya. Guaranteed. So, two London people are sitting. Okay, so we start. I want to go about it in a different way. Each retreat we need to look at it in a different way. A satsang has two words, sat and sang. We are not having a talk, okay? I'm not talking and you're just sitting down and listening and going back home. No, this is a satsanga. So what does a satsang imply?
Questions.
Huh?
Questions.
Of course, but before we talk, if you start the questions, then we are in trouble. So yeah, we'll come to that. So first the word sat and then the word sangha. The word sat is the opposite of the word asat. In the Sanskrit language, if you add an a to a word, it becomes the opposite. So sat, add an a, it becomes asat. So sat is the opposite of asat, which means sat is considered to be the definition given for reality. But then we would say that it is real, everything is real. So where is the other reality? So the understanding is there is something that is real, which may not be obvious. There is something that appears to be real, and may not be as real as one thinks. It also means that the Sat is that which is permanent, uh, as opposed to that which is impermanent. So, the ancient prayer that says, Asato ma sadgamaya, take me from as, asat to sat, which means from the unreal to the real, can only be understood if we understand that we sometimes live in a world which we think is very real, which at least benefit of doubt may not be. Maybe not. If it is not, then we are searching for the reality, for the permanent, so what is permanent? That which is here and always here and never goes off. And what is impermanent? That which is here today and gone tomorrow. Well, in physical terms, the last 3 years of the pandemic showed us very clearly how something is here and not there the next day. We have been saying this for years, but doesn't register much. But then comes this I'm not saying it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, of course. And then we realize somebody goes into the hospital, very young and never comes out. How permanent is that? And how real is this life that we think is so real that we don't mind killing, stealing, telling lies just to catch hold. Also good things, of course. It's part of the story. Good things not for others, for myself. So we begin to look. Person seeing this world, you and I, we begin to figure out, is there something that is real, in the sense absolutely real, which is covered by that which we think is real but may not be real, in absolute terms. Of course it is real. I can't say this is not real here right now, but how long this lasts and how long I can understand, or even if it lasts, how long am I there to understand it? You can see some old buildings, 1,000 years old. The guy who built it is gone. The guy who thought would enjoy it is gone. We see monuments. The Archaeological Society puts up a board and that's all you see. So, don't worry, it's not such a serious, it's a fact. Facts are always joyful. So, look at it carefully. So, we are trying to find that which is called the Sat. Now, Vedanta, also the Upanishads, which is Vedanta of course, have a definition for this. Reality, which is real and which may not be so obvious, is against that which is very obvious but may not be real. Plato put it beautifully by saying, because he didn't say there's only one, he said there are two eternal things. One is, capital I, is, and is never becoming. And the other is not, but is ever becoming. So perhaps when the becoming ceases, then there is the ease. But we are all the time involved in becoming. No harm, it's natural. I'm saying just look at it. We are all the time involved in becoming. Even in attending a satsang, in meditating, we are trying to become something. Maybe better than what we think we are. But the essence of the Sat is when all becoming ceases. Mind is not trying to grab or grasp or pull or become. In its natural state, when it is settled down, then it comes across something which is immeasurable, unlimited, real. So any other sadhana, exercise, kriya, whatever we do, it's only to bring about this state of mind from which, okay, let's put it this. Suppose this truth that we are talking about, the Sat, is there. Suppose it's sitting only in the heart of Federico, let's say. Huh? And I'm here, and I'm trying to find it. I have to stretch myself, right? I have to go there. Or if I have an elastic hand, I have to stretch it there. But what would you do if the Sat or the reality that we're looking at is everywhere? If it's all pervading, how do we reach for it? Perhaps when all reaching stops, it's there. And when you touch it here, you touch it there also. Perhaps. These are all theoretical right now. You see, this is why I keep saying perhaps, perhaps. Because you can say, what this man is saying, I don't get it. Perhaps. So, this Sat has been discussed thoroughly in the Upanishads and in the ancient texts, not only in India, I'm sure, discussed in other parts of the world also. This Sat, the Vedanta defines it, gives it a little more clear and understandable name, that Satchidananda. You must have heard everybody say Satchidananda. If I had a good friend whose name was Satchidananda, Swami Satchidananda. So Sat, we said, is the real, the permanent, which always is. Not like something in the earth which always is to us and we get so bored of it, not that way. Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, but this is not that kind of familiarity. It is always there, but it is fresh every day. It's not something which can be labeled and put away in a cubby hole and forgotten about, and then remember. It's always there, it's fresh. So, Satchit Ananda means that Sat is also of the nature of Chit. When you say Chit, conscious. It's not an object which is not, but then if you go deep into it, there's nothing that is not conscious in some way. I'm talking about consciousness which can be recognized, like human beings. We are aware of ourselves in the same way. The Sat is conscious. It is not a material object, but it is consciousness, the essence of all consciousness, the root of all consciousness, Chit. And it has one quality because of which, even if we are not spiritual seekers, we search for it. Bliss, happiness. Are there any human beings who are not searching for happiness in some form or the other? It's this, the whole of evolution, the so-called movement of life is governed by the human being's search for happiness. We say the search for Satchidananda, thinking that it can be found here or there, or if I have more things, I keep searching for it constantly. But not with much success. Yeah, a little bit success here and there, I can understand. But we keep searching, which is how this world is going on perhaps. Searching for that perfect happiness, that perfect fulfillment, let's say, which seems to always, when you go and you think it's total fulfillment, it's gone. And the very fact that when you have a little glimpse of it, you try to hold on to it, means it's so rare that you don't want it to run away. The moment you start protecting it, unhappiness has started again. No? The moment I have embodied, it will go off because it started again. But this is what we keep searching till we finally rest in peace. R.I.P. But we don't know if there's somebody resting in peace there. That's what they write, R.I.P. But till then it continues. Babaji used to say that R.I.P. also means rise if possible. It's over, done. So, this search for this happiness is actually, according to the great yogis, the search for your true essence, which is nowhere to be sought except in yourself, and which is Sat. So therefore it's called Satchidananda. So to look for it, you don't have to run hither and thither. You don't have to go to the Himalayas. I did. I confess. Not like a crime, but I did. Well, there was a reason for it. Maybe I would have found it sitting down in this little place in Thiruvananthapuram, who knows. But anyway, everybody has a certain design you go through before you find it. Somebody might, Nisargadatta Maharaj, where did he go? To the Himalayas? No. He sat in his little tea shop, cigarette shop, selling cigarettes and little things in the back streets of Mumbai. So you don't have to run anywhere. You don't have to go to India to find wisdom. Well, I don't want to say it. It can sound anti-national. You can find it anywhere. Because if it is consciousness, you carry consciousness wherever you go. You can't be without it. The very fact that you breathe, that you see, that you're conscious. We're saying this thing because of which you're conscious of everything. If it can be redirected and you can be conscious of yourself only for some time, then you have come to the root or the core of your consciousness, which is all pervading. You touch it here and you touch it there. There is no distance, there is no such thing out there. It's one. And if somebody, and because of that, because we are accustomed to limited things, limited definitions, therefore the sages also found it very difficult to express this. In fact, in the Upanishad, the Rishi who is teaching the Upanishad confesses, Na vidmo na vijanimo yadaitat anushishyat. I cannot understand how I can teach this to you. No, I'm not saying that now. You paid for a retreat. Anyway, we'll try. So, exactly. So now what I want you to do, or I want us to do, is not want to listen to me and find a solution, okay? We need to look at it together. Very important. Now, this is the meaning of Sangha. Sangha means Sambho manam si janatam. With our minds put together, may we understand. The attempt, the effort is yours as well as mine. Mine is to put into words which cannot be, and yours is to grasp through words what cannot be grasped. But don't think it's so difficult, please. Now that's another thing that keeps us off from seriously inquiring into the spirit. Oh, it's so difficult. Believe me, you don't have to go to a monastery. You may if you love to, that's different. But there's no necessity. You don't have to change your robes, your clothes. Don't have to grow your hair or cut your... I used to have long hair. To tie it up, and I decided, let's get rid of this. Because many people were imitating. Unfortunately, I cut it off, but nobody is cutting off their hair. Good, I'm glad about that. No imitation is required. You don't need rosaries. You don't need, you may. That's a different story altogether. So what you need is a mind that is open, which can look into this, explore. And we are lucky that what you're exploring is not so far away, but right here. In fact, the Upanishad, in the Ishavasya Upanishad, is a beautiful statement. It says, Tad dure tad vadantike. It appears so far and it is so near. Here. And somebody said, it's nearer to you than your own jugular vein. So, this is what we are looking at. And the Sangha, when you say Sangha, it means together. A group of people together. You and I here, for instance, are sitting together and looking at this problem and saying, can we explore this? Can we look at it and figure out what is this that is in us which needs to be rediscovered? What is in us which is the essence of consciousness? What is it in us which is deathless? Mrityorma amritam gamaya, lead me from that which succumbs to death to that which is immortal. So this is what we are going to do in different ways in this 2.5 days, because this is already over today. 2.5 days of satsanga. There's another need for satsanga. There is this great text called the Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavat. Many people think it's full of stories. There's nothing very intellectual in it. Meant for retired people and so on and so forth. But not so. The Bhagavat is the wisdom which already there in Vedanta put in stories. Great teachers talked in parables because it's much more easily understood than giving a talk or a speech. So, the Bhagavat is a collection of stories. But each story has a certain impact on your spiritual journey. Now, Bhagavat starts in a very funny way, strange way, because many people won't agree with this. We think that we have come to the highest level of intelligence now, all of us. We're all very civilized and intellectual. The Bhagavad starts by complaining that in this world where people are dim-witted, you get a shock, hey, am I dim-witted? How shall we explain this to you? This is how it starts. And it says, of course, in this time when one is intellectually not able to grasp these matters easily, there may be exceptions, but easily, the best way is to get together and work on it. And then the coming together is called a Sangha. And coming together to understand the truth is called Satsanga. And when you are also participating with someone who you expect must be knowing the truth or perhaps knows the truth, it's called a Sadhu Satsanga. Why Satsanga? The Bhagavad has a beautiful reason for it. It says, which is true, human beings are society animals. Very few people can really stay alone in solitude and do what they want. This is very rare. Most people are part of society. We need a community. We like to be in a community. If you don't go to one particular community, then you gravitate towards another community or another group. So human beings being social animals, because we are animals, right? Homo sapiens. So, human beings, being social animals, it's very difficult and very rare to find an individual standing up and saying, no, I'm independent, I can do on. So we meet, we need to have meetings, we meet people, so we need a community. So the Bhagavad says something very interesting, since you need it. Better develop a community, go to a community which looks into the truth. Because if you not, you will fall into some other community which is looking for something else. So if you don't have a satsanga, then it's natural that one gravitates to dursanga. Suppose some of you don't meet together and discuss these matters and meditate, or go for a walk, or read the necessary texts or whatever. What happens then in the evening when you are not doing any of these things? 7 o'clock, you're attracted by the spirit, of course, but in the body. That's also a spirit which lives in the body. That's a dursanga. If you have someone who is enjoying the other spirit, which is not in the bottle but in your heart, then you gravitate towards it. Because we are all society animals. We want a community, so come to a good community. Otherwise, it's natural that the mind would gravitate towards something which is opposite. We are not saying this is good or that is bad. Something opposite. I'm nothing against somebody who has a glass of wine. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying how sanghas operate. Either you are sitting down in a quiet place and trying to work on this, or you're with a community that is doing something else. So therefore, satsanga is important. And sadhu satsanga is important because you need something to come around. On your own, it might be difficult. So maybe this guy has, or somebody who has something, and you want to share and figure out, if this guy could get there, why couldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Please, I'm going to tell you this. Don't think that only one person can find it. I think if we say that, we are only trying to keep it away from others. People of average intelligence like me can find it. I don't know if I still have average, whatever. Why not others? The only problem is that which we seek cannot be reached just through intellectual understanding. It's an experience, personal. Even the word experience is difficult to define, but it's not something that can be reached simply through theoretical, intellectual understanding. It is to go beyond that. There's this famous, very important prayer, mantra in the Rig Veda. 126 mandala of the Rig Veda. There is this mantra which is so important that people are taught when they are very young, the Gayatri mantra. The last sentence of the Gayatri mantra is Diyo Yohana Prachodayat. May my intelligence be stimulated, not intellect. Please make a distinction between intelligence and intellect. Intellect is when I have read enough, generally too much, and I have listened to so many, so I'm listening to one more. Or I have read so many books and understood many things. This is intellect. Notice this, learning something and taking it to your memory and storing it there. This is intellect. There is nothing against it. I'm just saying this is what it is. Today I don't know about this microphone, and I'm trying to understand it. So up till now there is understanding. Intelligence. I want intelligence to understand this. But once I have understood this, then I label it. Oh, this is the microphone, and I put it in my memory. Some cubby hole in my memory, it's there. And when I say I know about it, which means at any time I can open this cubby hole and take out the material. When I say mic, oh, this is the microphone. So that is the intellect, which gathers information through intelligence. Right? The KGB gathers intelligence. Does it act on it? No. So, I'm sorry, you gather the intelligence and then you store it in your memory and recall it when you want. This is called intellect. So I might have volumes of books I have read and stored here. But the truth happens to be something which cannot be memorized because all memory is in the past. You think any memory, when I say memory, it automatically is something in the past. It is not now. And if all my knowledge is a memory, then it cannot be that which is now. And the Sat has to be that which is now. So no amount of... So therefore, now, when the Gayatri mantra says, may my intelligence be stimulated, it means may I have the intelligence to understand that this is a fact. That no amount of gathering in the brain, information. Why do we need to gather so much? Now, today, you have the Google, right? God, big G. You know, sometimes it may be wrong information, but you can find out. So why do you want to gather and walk around with that burden? I have the whole Kabbalah on my head. You break your neck. So, or I have the entire Vedas. This is very interesting. There is a beautiful Veda, Upanishad, called the Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad. A great Rishi's son goes, a great Rishi goes and asks another great Rishi, can you tell us about knowledge? Please read the, not Mandukya, my favorite, but Mundaka. And tell us about knowledge. We all want knowledge, right? And the Rishi says, there are two kinds of knowledge. Two kinds. What are the two kinds of knowledge? There is knowledge which is higher and knowledge which is lower. So this guy is a little worried. He says, so can you tell me what is this lower knowledge so that I can abandon it and study the new knowledge, the higher knowledge? You'd be shocked. The list starts like this: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Vedangas, Jyotisha, and so on and so forth. This guy is completely stunned. So he says, so what is this higher knowledge? He says, that which leads you to the truth. Which means, even if you have all this, if it does not lead you to the truth, it's still lower knowledge. Not saying that you shouldn't read this, or that's not the meaning here. So then it would be like, oh, abandon everything, throw them all into the sea. One way of thinking. I don't agree with this. So I must say at this point, since we mentioned it, I was for some years close to a great person, a great teacher. So I don't want to mention names. I don't want to raise anybody's hackles. So in one of his speeches, his talks, well-respected figure all over the world, so now his talks, he said, throw away all your scriptures into the sea. So, okay. Now I came to him after a great deal of traditional Little shocked, but anyway. And 2 days later he said, the speaker has not read any one of these. So, in the evening I went to see him and I said, sir, now this is contradiction, because first you say throw away all your books into the sea, and then you say after 2 days I have not read any of these. If you have not read any of these, how do you know that there is nothing in there? Why would you throw it into the sea? But one thing about this man was there was no ego there. He could have said, shut up. He said, yes, sir, you're right. I said, so you be careful. He said, but the speaker does not need any of these. I said, that's a different story. Do you need any of this? And therefore, throw it off. But you said you not read, and you don't know. Now, the common person who listens to you takes it as a gospel truth. So he might also throw everything away without understanding anything. You may not need it, somebody else may need it. But instead of saying, shut up and get lost, he said, you're right, sir, I need to be careful with my words. So, why did I say this?
Higher knowledge, lower. Higher knowledge.
So, not memory failure, okay? We don't have this good friend here who comes from Canada who every time I pause and I wait to say something, he sends me an email saying, I think you're coming tonight. You need to take B complex B. Not that. It's sometimes difficult to put into words and describe when the mind is blank. You know? So you have to come out of that and try to get down to the earth, and this is the problem, nothing else. So don't worry, I'm not gone tonight, I hope not. So, therefore, a satsanga needs you and me. Can't be done with me. Why would I have a satsanga? For what? With whom? Some imaginary being? You have to be there. And you have to be there, I have to be there, otherwise we won't bring up this topic of discussion. So it's a dialogue in a way, not an argument. Argument is when I think I know, you think you know, and then we clash. Dialogue is when you and I are looking at something and trying to figure out what is this we're talking about. This is what I want to happen throughout. So, in the time allotted for questions, please be free to ask questions. And as you said, we will discuss it, but not one person asking all the questions. There are many people. So we will have time for that also. So, generally before a satsang starts, something is chanted. A mantra is chanted. I want to chant that and make you understand what it means, because many people chant a mantra, they don't know what they are chanting, but they know it well. Know it well, know how to chant well. That's what I mean. So this mantra is also from the Vedas. It says Om. We won't get into explaining Om right now. Tomorrow we'll do it. It's a satsang to have Om. 3 days satsang on Om. So we'll keep it there, pending. And so the mantra itself, Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma, Vidvishavahai. In India too you hear it very often. So have we thought about what it says? It's basically meant for a satsang. Sahana Bhavatu. May you and I be protected. Note the word Saha. Saha na bhavatu, Saha na upunaktu, Saha vidyam gat. That means you and I. Not me alone or you alone. Saha means two, together, you and I. So, I can say I and you, but I am deliberately saying you and I. Sahana bhavatu, may you and I be protected. Protected from? One, physical, of course, protection. You're protected here, you're not feeling cold, and so on. Physical. There are no red ants walking around here to bite you. All this is protection. And hopefully you get good food. Hopefully, I don't know, I haven't eaten yet. So, last time was good. So, protected. Also, not just physical protection. The mind needs to be protected from wishful thinking, from not being able to put attention on one thought or or what is being said, the distraction that takes place in the mind, all that is included in sahana, sahana bhavatu. May we be protected from distractions, not only physical distractions but also mind distractions. Then Sahano Bhunaktu, may we be nourished, both of us, nourished again physically. Yogi doesn't starve himself to death, no. He eats food, what is required. Not overeating, but what is required. And Sahano Bhunaktu also means nourishing the mind with good thoughts, with proper direction, with freeing itself from distractions, giving it enough substance to understand. Healthy thoughts, all this is nourishing the mind of you and me. Saha viryam karavavahai. Let the virya means vitality in you and me increase. Because what we are attempting to do is quite subtle. And that requires a great deal of one-pointed, undistracted attention, which means it also requires tremendous energy. So if you are dissipating your energies in useless activities, useless from our point of view, then you don't have enough energy to look into these matters. There's no point in looking into it when all the energies are done and we are old and can't. Start now. So, in ancient times, when a student went to a teacher, they said he had fuel in his hand. It doesn't mean that he lit a stick and took it along. It means there was enough fuel inside him, useful for him to get into that which is so subtle and which required one-pointed attention, free of all distractions. For this physical as well as mind energy is required. So, saha viryam karavavahai. May our vitality, yours and mine, increase. Laziness is not spiritual activity. Energy. There is full energy, the mind is quiet. People think the other way around. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Why laziness is not the same as samadhi. Some people they think, well, I'm in a spiritual state. And what did you do just before that? Well, I had a nice smoke. No. We'll discuss that tomorrow. So, sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadi tamastu. May the spiritual light, tejas, shine in you and me. Last, Ma vidvishavahai, let's not fight with each other. We can discuss, but not fight. Huh? So, these are some of the things to keep in mind as we proceed. Looking into what is Sat, what is Asat, and if we can find the Sat, not somewhere far away but inside us, right here. This is what we are going to do, this entire session. Then, since many of you have come with the hope of taking Kriya, we will also have to discuss why it is that you would require some kind of practice to move forward. Because the reason is that the mind is in general, there may be exceptions again. In general, the mind is kind of distracted and not open to understanding that which is beyond conditioning. All sadhana or practices are done. Shake it up first to open it up. Because then it's difficult otherwise to get to these things which are so subtle. So the mind which is ordinarily engaged in just mundane activities, the mind that is generally engaged only in discussion and argument, the mind that is only engaged in satiating material desires, the mind that is only engaged in, the number of things that we do. This mind has, since birth, since we are brought up, been hypnotized into a certain way of thinking. So all practices are meant to de-hypnotize ourselves. You know what is when you hypnotize somebody? Suppose you don't do anything. You hypnotize somebody and you draw a line. The hypnotist draws a line with a chalk and says, hey, cross that river, be careful, you'll find the person lifting up with you. Then slowly going across the chalk. There is no river there. What happened? Mind was influenced. Here, we have been influenced. We need to de-hypnotize, wake up. The innumerable mantras that we chant are the wake-up mantras from this hypnosis. It's like the hypnotist saying, when I count till 10, you'll wake up. Similarly, I'm saying it's not my own quotation actually. Swami Vivekananda was asked, is meditation hypnosis? He says, on the contrary, it is de-hypnosis. It takes you out from the ideas into which you have been hypnotized since childhood. One of the ideas, for instance, you want to be happy, gather. So we know how much you can gather and where you can. I'm not talking about wives gathering. That is more difficult. I'm talking about other things. Gathering. Like I have one house, I need two. I have a car, I need two. No, I won't say that. And so on. So, we are saying that there is something which comes more through letting go than gathering. When I say letting go, it doesn't mean to sell off. The monk who sold his Ferrari, he could have gone to a proper satsang faster if he kept it. But that's a different. So, it's not that. It's not being caught up by it. This is what is the meaning of let go and rejoice. Tena tyaktena punjita. So these are the things we are going to look into from tomorrow morning. And we can have a lively discussion on this. Welcome. It's 1 hour now. I came at 5:30. It's 6:30. Beyond an hour, especially when you start, I don't think the mind will sit in one place. So enough for the day. And if you have any questions, any Not complaints, I don't know what to do. Complaints, you ask the organizers. If you have any, we are free to discuss. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, there are too many people, so I can't have a one-on-one with them. Let me confess. I know everybody wants to have a one-on-one in some way. Or is it one-to-one? What is it? So, we'll see. Sometimes I might run into you somewhere. We can have a chat. That's okay. So, thank you very much. Let me chant Shanti Mantra before we stop this session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace.